All right, welcome. Episode 22 of Business Can Be Better. 22.
Did you think I was going to say something inappropriate? Because right before we went on, you're like, mic on.
Because
I better stop saying
I toggle
whatever.
it on and we can stop
okay.
talking about being almost live and then we know we're live.
Perfect.
Episode 22 talking about content marketing, how to get fans by using content for your brand. But
Yeah, I'm just here for a class today.
okay, well, yeah, I can ask you like set up questions and stuff and it'll be great.
Okay.
What's new with you?
Oh,
What's new with Kelly Ray?
You know
have
what?
something.
I didn't plan my podcast agenda.
Perfect.
I always
Because you're like, I got nothing to share. I'm just coming and
No, it's because I
here
replaced
to
my
talk.
podcast prep in my calendar with our meeting before.
Right.
The calendar let me down. My
Right.
clients are going to love this.
This is
Soak it in, guys. Enjoy it. The calendar failed me. What is new with me? LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Kelly
I'm
Ray's
finally
doing LinkedIn.
embracing LinkedIn.
It's good.
It is. There's some really meaningful conversations happening on there that I'm pretty impressed with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's probably the
LinkedIn's
newest.
new.
I was not prepared. Sorry, I don't have
That's
anything
okay.
interesting. I'm liking LinkedIn though.
I enjoy it a lot. I'm on there often.
Yeah, your videos are really good.
Videos, and I try and share an article once in a while, and I go comment on other people's stuff, and I like LinkedIn. Yeah. So?
What's new with you?
Oh
yeah.
How nice of you to ask. What's new with me? It's been just a crazy January. My calendar's been like so full. I kind of made the mistake of like I have the Calendly thing, right? So you have the URL and you can just go book a meeting. I almost just like said it out
I've
loud,
gotten
and
the
I don't
email.
want everyone to know the email or the link. But certain people do, like prospects or clients or whoever. People have the link, so whenever they want to meet with you, they just like throw themselves in the calendar.
Well, do you leave it all open?
No, I mean, like if I'm busy, they can't book it, and I only take a certain amount per day and whatever. There's an allotment, but it definitely filled up. So it's been a busy January. Bunch of new
Big
clients. Yeah, it's just
thought you said
January.
you-
People are excited.
I thought
People
you
are
said
like
you only work till
2020.
noon every day.
When did I say that?
Last week.
I need to
You're
only
like, I'm
start
pretty
at
much
noon.
done by noon every day.
Oh yeah, no, it has been good. Like I
When
get all my
week's your
important
next?
stuff
It's
done
just-
at noon, and then it's like, all right, let's do some business development or something,
Or something.
or nothing.
Or just everything that showed up in your calendar without your consent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember getting one of those links a few years ago.
Yeah.
Book yourself in my calendar. I'm like, what am I, your assistant?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
this doesn't look like a heart. Lane's screens are very dirty, very dusty. You know how people write "wash me" on the back of cars?
I should do it on my monitor.
Well, I tried to draw a little heart there, but
Yeah.
now look at this. There we go. Okay, don't mind me. Take it away.
All right.
We're
We're
here
going
to
to talk
learn.
about content marketing. Content. And I think, so I put it in the description of this show. Content is this word that everyone's using now. They stopped talking about blogs and videos and posts, and now it's just content. And it's weird because to me, content feels like an internal term. Like I would say, oh, we need to produce content, or this was great content or something. But I wouldn't say that to my viewers. Like,
Here's
do you
some
like my
content.
content? Like, it feels really weird, but it's starting to get used that way. Like, I've seen people post that. What kind of content would you like to see from us? Like, it just feels like an internal term that you shouldn't use publicly. You should talk about your videos and your stories and your articles and your
Vlogs.
not your
Podcasts.
content. This is a podcast. It's not content. Well,
Yeah.
it is content, but we don't talk about it like content. I don't know. That's how it is to me. That's how I feel.
Do I say that?
I don't know. It's just definitely become a term that's gained a lot of popularity because content marketing has become more and more and more mainstream that people are aware of it. So should we like define? Do we need an operating definition of content and content marketing?
Whose quote is "content is king"?
I'm not sure. That one has been around for a few years. But content, I guess, is just stuff that people consume, right? Whether it's videos and infographics or blogs or podcasts or whatever it is. Heath Evans, essay by Bill Gates. Content is king? Really? Did Bill Gates come up with this in 1996?
I don't know.
I don't feel like Microsoft is the example I leap to when I think of content as king.
Mm-mm.
But the idea of content is that it's stuff that people want to consume. And so when I first started my agency, I was thinking of it as creating a content marketing agency, which is like an inbound marketing strategy. You put stuff out there that people love and enjoy and consume, and then you have that brand and awareness and people like you and they're fans and whatever. And then when they need your service or product, then they come to you and it's inbound. That would be content marketing is great at that. Whereas outbound marketing is interruption marketing. It's like, well, you went to watch this TV show and that was what you went there for, and we're going to interrupt it and then show you this advertisement. So,
oh my gosh, I have to mention something from that book I was telling you about. Oh, and also the definitions of content are hilarious. There isn't one.
That's content. That's a different word.
No, well, look, that's how you spell it, right?
Yeah, I know. But when you just put in content, it's saying the adjective content.
So anyways, re-engineering retail. Can't remember the author's name now. But he's really an accurate analyst, technology analyst. And shoot, I wish I knew his name. I'll Google it. Okay. But anyways, I forget what I was going to say.
You're on a roll live today.
Right now. Okay, back up. You'd think I was the one.
I was talking about inbound versus interruption marketing, content marketing.
I got it. Thank you. Okay, so he was talking about how paying for social media advertising, like, oh, it's so cheap per view or whatever. He's like, but really, if people are scrolling past your video and they don't have their sound turned on and they're not even looking at the screen, right, Facebook will still count it as a view. So he's like, you just have to remember that. There are, yes, it might be cheap, but is it effective? And then he was talking about the thing that I really resonated with was how much we've turned advertising into like a poison. Right. He's like, YouTube tells you just have to endure this for 5, 4, 3, and then you can get to what you want, And he's just like talking about how it's become this hated thing. So that's probably why content has emerged as
that people are sick of being advertised to. Yeah.
But isn't this just advertising?
No.
Isn't it another way of us attracting the right people?
Sure. Yeah.
Clients.
It's marketing, but it wouldn't be advertising. So in the example of YouTube, I go there because, like, the example I use when I do seminars, for whatever reason, it's just in my head. But if you need to learn how to sharpen your lawnmower blade, I don't know why that one is the one I always go to. It's something that you might need to know how to do. I need to know how to sharpen my lawnmower blade. So you go to YouTube or you go to Google or you go somewhere and you go find this blog or a video, and then it gets interrupted with like a Home Depot ad. So that's advertising. They're like, well, we know you're here. We know this is relevant. Let's throw this ad across and interrupt what you went there for. Whereas content marketing is Home Depot writes the blog about how to sharpen it, or they make the video about how to sharpen it. That's content marketing. It's not advertising at all. There's already been a value exchange. You've given them what they came there looking for, whether it was entertainment or knowledge or news or whatever it was. You gave them something that's valuable to them and didn't ask for anything in return. So it's not advertising. No.
It's not like you have to watch this for 5 seconds before you're allowed to watch what you want.
No, exactly. So in the YouTube, it's the pre-roll is the advertising.
In the YouTube?
In the YouTube example.
This is a good day. In the YouTube.
In the YouTube.
On the Facebook. Also, I don't think the fans are going to believe that you cut your own grass. Well,
I cut my own grass.
Do you sharpen a lawnmower blade?
You're supposed to.
Obviously,
and not that I have, but I think you're supposed to occasionally.
Maybe my husband probably does that.
It takes me all of 10 minutes to mow all of my grass. So there's not a lot of it.
I like your guys' backyard.
So what would be some brands that you enjoy following? Because that would signal to me that you enjoy their content, not that you enjoy their ads. But who do you enjoy following?
Oh, this is very personal.
Oh, okay.
Like YouTube?
Sure, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, any brands.
I'm not so much anymore, but for a period there, I watched like every video of Tony Robbins ever.
Okay.
And then I went to like all of his really expensive courses and I knew everything he was going to say.
Right.
But I've never... Okay, so Brendan Burchard I used to like a lot. You know what?
You don't follow any...
I mean, there's some spiritual stuff that I've been looking at lately, but I'm not really cool with sharing that yet.
Okay.
Not cool. I'm not sure that I can endorse
Not ready
it
to
yet.
put that out there?
I'm in a little bit of an iffy spot on that stuff.
So like some ones that I think do this well, because they're ones that I follow and I enjoy their content, is like GoPro.
Oh, Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V
yeah,
for sure, right?
Example,
but it's easier, like, I think it's, people, I think, can make an easier logic jump when you talk about people like that, like Brendan Bouchard and Gary Vee and stuff, because it's a personality and you kind of make sense that you're going to put out content. But if you're talking about a product, I think that's a harder thing for people to make sense of how you would do that. So the example I was going to bring up is someone like GoPro, who are amazing to follow because it's just incredible videos shot on their cameras. And it's not like GoPro cameras are a great camera, but there are other action cameras and they're not the only one in the market and maybe not even the best one. But it's literally like, it's almost like Kleenex to whatever tissues, right? It's like it's become the word for what it is because it's synonymous with action camera. And it's because of their content that you just, it's so fun to watch. And so you can follow them. I don't even own a GoPro, follow all their stuff and consume it, and it's just fascinating. And the same with Red Bull, which is more distant from their product, because GoPro, it's like, it's a camera, let's show the videos that are made on the camera. That's a pretty easy, like, well, of course it's easy to make content. Red Bull is an energy drink, but it's, if you follow their channels, there is nothing about their energy drink anywhere. It's like, here's a guy on a dirt bike, here's a guy like snowboarding, here's a guy in one of those ridiculous squirrel suits flying over cliffs, like whatever it is, it's just something extreme. Here's like dirt rally, whatever, and it's just about the lifestyle and telling story a bit, but mostly just wow moments, like that's crazy watching that. And it's very it's near their product, but it's not like it's talking about their product at all. It's more lifestyle based.
So I don't follow WestJet or Budweiser, but those are two brands that I can think of. Actually, my husband, who's not into marketing or advertising at all, he's like, you have to see this ad. And he's like, cover your eyes. I don't want you to see what company it's for. I'm like, I bet it's Budweiser. Right. He's like, how'd you know that? It was that Dwayne Wade ad, the basketball player. Haven't seen it. But I knew it because the last Budweiser commercial I saw was the puppy and the horse.
I remember hearing about that. Oh my gosh.
And then the very end, it was just like Budweiser, and that was it. Yeah. But the whole, they're just like, feel good, puppies, horses, love, and you're like, crying in this commercial. And then they just flash their brand. Yeah, and then the basketball player one, I hope I got his name right, it was like his last season playing, so I guess he was exchanging jerseys with all these people. And then they surprised him and brought in these 5 people. They didn't give him a jersey, but they gave him like some sort of special shirt, like their graduation robe because he paid for her university, her brother's shirt because he saved his life. I can't remember that story. A robe from his mom because he bought her a church. Like I was crying.
Cool.
I think my husband almost
cried. So some
too.
ads can be so good and so good at telling stories that they become content, right? And you would actually seek them out. Like people might go to YouTube and be like, oh, I want to go watch that ad now. And that can happen for sure. But for the most part, advertising is something that interrupts what people went there to find, and content is the thing they went there to find. Yeah. The other one that I enjoy following is Patagonia, like the outdoor company or outdoor apparel or whatever. My
likes them.
Yeah, and so I mean, I enjoy the outdoors, but I'm not like a hiker, fisher, mountain climber kind of person. But I enjoy their content because it's just amazing photos from the tops of mountains or on beaches, and a lot of it telling incredible stories about nature preservation or adventure or whatever it is. The one example that I always use as literally the best example of content marketing of all time, it's pretty much universally agreed, is the Lego movie, because it's a 90-minute commercial for a toy. Yeah. And of course it also made money in the box office and did very well, but the point of making it with Lego was because they're going to sell Lego. Oh yeah. And there is no call to action, there's no and buy it at a Toys R Us near you or anything like that, but you can go look at their sales and they went up like 48% or something the quarter immediately after the Lego movie was released.
Yeah, I think they've been in like 3 of the books I've read lately.
Yeah. Incredible idea. And now you see it a lot. You go on Netflix and there's all these kids shows, and most of them are around the toy. It's like Shopkins or around whatever it is. You go watch the show, and it's because now when the kids see it on the shelf, they want it because they watch the show. So it's become common, but that's content marketing. I don't know. There's lots and lots of examples, but that's what it's all about, is creating content people actually want to consume.
Yeah, I want to share something really quick because it might be the only thing I can contribute to this whole conversation.
I doubt it. So they have lots.
Also, it's like painful for me not to talk for like 5 minutes straight. I'm like itching to share. So a lot of my friends, very well-educated, smart friends, but we really disagree on advertising. Like, whereas like I told you about that one thing that I just purchased that I was like, ooh, that was good. They really
Right.
got me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm a marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm easily persuaded by marketing,
Okay.
but I love it. I'm like, that was so cool how they got me, or like, oh my gosh, they knew that I wanted to get engaged and there's wedding rings, you know,
Right.
like I like that stuff, but a lot of my friends are like super opposed and like they think it's a violation of privacy and blah blah blah. So a lot of people hate advertising, but I don't know anyone who hates content.
No.
So that's like how I kind of just was like, oh, that's
Because if you
such a
hate it,
difference.
you just don't consume it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, although there is trolls out there who will go seek out your content. Like, if you get a big enough
Yeah.
audience, which we work with some brands that do, we were laughing about it in the office today, where people are literally, like, seeking out our content and then just trolling us and blasting us. And it's like, we didn't pay to force this to come down your timeline. Like, you follow us or you went and sought this out. So, whatever. But anyways, for the most part, people only see that content because they chose to follow it. So no one's going to hate it. If they did, they'll just stop following you.
We had remember Lethbridge Residential Fence and Deck?
Right.
So
Yeah, that old.
we did not do ads.
Okay.
We like posted. I think it was a picture of like Tim and his uncle. It was such a cute photo. They're building a fence. And it showed up in this lady's news feed. I don't even know her. I
Right.
thought she must have liked the page to see it. But anyway, she just sent us a message out of the blue and she was like, because you have invaded my personal Facebook space with your advertising, I will never. And she just like went on about how horrible we are. And I'm like,
I've definitely seen that. People are like, please stop
Misunderstand.
making this ad appear in my timeline.
Oh,
and
really?
they get annoyed and whatever. So that's fine. We can do that for the people who don't like being targeted with ads.
yeah.
But content is, it's a way around the distaste, I guess, for ads. Just show them something they're going to enjoy consuming, and then they build a relationship with you and you become their preferred choice. And it is, of course, like branding versus advertising. It's a long term game. Like, you're not going to get the return next week. It's going to be, next year maybe. You've built an audience. So the example of us doing that locally was with one of the gyms in town. And we went in there. I kind of pitched the idea of doing a reality show just for Facebook. And so we went in and I said, let's pick 2 people and we'll give them a 12-week challenge. You guys give them the free gym membership, the free personal training, the free nutrition, the free everything you can get with your membership. And we'll see what their goals are, and then we'll track it and we'll document it and we'll make show about it. And I interviewed like 20 people because we put a post out about it, and all these people applied, and we ended up picking 3 people, and they all had very different goals, and we tracked them for 12 weeks, and we made an episode, like a 6 or 7 minute episode just for Facebook. That was the only place it appeared, and we made it every 2 weeks and published it. And all 3 of these people, well, actually one, she had some medical concerns and just wasn't able to continue partway, but the other 2 just smashed their goals like halfway through, and by the time they hit 12 weeks, they were just doing incredible. And at no point where we're like, and you can come and also experience this at this gym, or this package would cost you this, or here's where you sign up. It's just literally show them and ask for nothing. Just here's the content. Look at what can be achieved. Here's the story. And it was emotional. Like, people are crying in it because it's like what they're achieving. It was amazing, the transformations. And that's what content marketing is about. Just tell stories, give content, and then if you're ever in a position where you're like, you know what, I really need to change something in my life, I'm ready for this transformation. I mean, what gym is going to come to mind than the very local one that literally showed you exactly what's possible? So
Yeah, I think like in the 5.5 years that I've been doing the coaching company, I've maybe recorded and I think they were all with you, maybe 3 videos where I was like, hey, buy this course, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever have I on my own got on video and said, hey, you should buy this, because it just doesn't feel right. So, but I can flip on the camera and talk for, what'd you say? I talked for 9 minutes about pricing? Too long, apparently. Thanks. But it just doesn't feel good to do sales. Like, it doesn't fit in content. And it, I think it's just really, people are so sick of fake, forced, they want us to be so real. Advertising is not,
sometimes
I
is
don't know
not
how
that.
to, but yeah, you definitely can't mix them. 'Cause
No,
people would be like,
then you lose their
"Screw
trust.
you." Yeah.
It's like this Trojan horse thing where you're going to be like, oh, here's this piece of content, and then it turns into an ad.
Oh, I
and
hate
you
those
don't want
webinars.
that. Yeah, the
I've done
webinars,
so
exactly.
many webinars where I
yeah.
really believed I was going to get like really good stuff, and at the end they're like, just $3,000, and we'll
Yeah.
tell you the actual thing
Here's
you've been
the
waiting 2
punchline.
hours
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
was like, I would never do that to people.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's why a lot of people didn't come onto our live Facebook classes.
Right.
Because they
they're
really thought I
waiting
was
for a
going to pitch them.
Yeah.
I pitched nothing.
Right.
Like I was.
So you have to build a reputation where people trust. They're like, no, you are a giver. You are generous with your knowledge. I know that you're not going to pitch me. And so when you build that up, then I think there's a lot less of that defensiveness about it.
Some people are probably thinking, I know I am, like, man, how long does it take? Because it's been 5 years for me, and I'm still not where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And but I know a lot of the people who are just huge in the coaching world, the online coaching world. They all talked about suddenly 12 years later, I was an overnight success.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, so
yeah.
I mean, it's not a fast way. But I don't think advertising is either. Like, you talk about advertising without content to build credibility, and that doesn't, especially in the expert space.
Yeah, depends what
right?
you're advertising. Like, yeah, there is some if you just need to sell whatever, some object, and there's already some market awareness and some demand for it. You just need to reach new people and discount it. I mean, you can definitely get very quick results with advertising. But the second, it's the same thing. It works the opposite too. The second you stop paying, it just stops working, right? You pay and get results, but there's no latent benefit to it, or not, maybe not none, but very little latent benefit that follows it that helps you have success down the road. But yeah, there's a show I've been watching that I really, really enjoy lately on YouTube called Hot Ones. Have you ever seen this show? It's a guy, and probably the best interviewer I've ever seen. An amazing, amazing interview. He just researches his guests to an absurd level that he can ask them questions where they're just like, how did you know that? And they're always complimenting him on how good his questions are. He gets like the biggest celebrities in the world on his show. Just amazing people. Whoever he wants to interview, he seems to be able to get them. And he sits across from them, and there's 10 bottles of hot sauce and 10 chicken wings. They each have their own.
Obviously,
and they go
I don't watch this.
Well, there's vegan people come on, and it's cauliflower instead or whatever.
Oh, really?
So he accommodates.
That's awesome.
And so you start from the mildest, and you each take a bite, and he asks you a question, and then you move to the next one, and it just gets increasingly spicier up to an absurd level of spiciness that probably isn't safe for human consumption. But I watched this show because it's so amusing, and he's an amazing interviewer.
What's his name?
His name is Sean Evans. The show is called Hot Ones, and he has other shows, so his channel is called First We Feast. But the show's called Hot Ones. Definitely worth watching. He's done like 200 episodes. He's had Gary Vee on it. He's amazing to watch because he's just like, this is a mental game. You're not going to break me. I'm going to do this. And he just like powers through the whole way, and he eats like every piece of chicken off of every wing because that's scary. But partway through, I think it's at like, wing number 7 or something, up pops a thing that says it's time for Tums or something like that. So Tums has like sponsored this because you probably need Tums at this point. You should probably have Tums. So someone like them or Pepto-Bismol or like someone could advertise, but that's advertising, right? They're just like, here's the people making content. Let's just insert ourselves in it, and maybe we get some residual benefit.
I don't know, because you and me like advertising. Like, we appreciate the cleverness and the skill that goes behind it. But some people are like, well, I'm not watching this show anymore because there's an ad on it.
Yeah.
Which I think is really
right. So
sad.
So if you're doing content marketing, my argument is, why didn't Tums invent the show Hot Ones? Because that's content marketing.
Yeah.
Tums is like, here's our show where we make people eat hot sauce and spicy wings to the point where, and we offer them Tums along the way if they need them. And it's just an amazing piece of content without trying to be a pitch about your product. It just happens to be the setting for it.
Now that no one watches TV, I can't tell if some of these things are TV ads that are on YouTube or if they're actually just YouTube videos. But kind of like the WestJet ones where they do the Christmas gifts for people.
Miracle stuff, yeah.
Here's the funny thing. I think it was a video from like Scotty's or another brand, but all I can think of is Kleenex, which is hilarious. But it's like a story about a janitor, and all the kids like surprise him, and he like cries, and they give him Kleenex or whatever brand it is. Sorry, whatever brand it is, but obviously they don't have enough.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's just a YouTube video. I guess
don't know.
it was
I don't
probably
know
an ad. It has to be an ad, or I wouldn't have seen it.
Right.
Because I don't just search
Scroll
for
videos.
Kleenex videos. Yeah.
But that's like, that would be content marketing, is why, why doesn't the brand, rather than advertising it, why isn't that I mean, of course, it's not like, why didn't you think of that? Of course, someone had to think of it and didn't happen to be them. But that should be the goal, is that the brand is the one who comes up with that content. Like maybe Frank's Red Hot puts on that show, although I'm sure they would only be like wing 1 or 2 compared to the ones that they line up. But I think this is achievable for even small business. Like you could put on a little, someone else can do a podcast like this and do it in their coffee shop that they own and make that the setting, and just show how this is a place where you come together and have great coffee and amazing conversation, and you turn that into a podcast that is an amazing piece of content in its own right, that your shop just happens to be the background for. I have one of my blogs I wrote about this, where there's a BMX channel that my son loves watching, and it's a guy he's one of the best BMX people of all time, an amazing rider. And then you kind of realize, like I watched a few with him, and I realized that he actually owns this shop that's kind of just the background setting for his videos, and he owns a shop and an online store, and he has this whole brand, but his videos are really just about him and his friends riding bikes and doing stupid stuff. There's no like, okay, and buy your new, whatever frame at this link. It's just him, and the background setting happens to be a bike shop that he owns. And that's really, really powerful, because he has very loyal audience members, and that's what we're talking about. How do you turn people into fans?
I have a
You
question.
give them content they love first. Yes.
I always think that like the people who are super, super huge right now got on Facebook at the right time.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like I was a few years too late for that, and Instagram. And so it's taken a long time for me to build. Like, I'm still not where I want to be, obviously. But do you think there's a... Well, we have one person watching our podcast. Yeah, so hi, Jocelyn. But do you think there are certain platforms, well, obviously it's going to be different for different businesses, but you're a big fan of LinkedIn right now, right? And content is working a lot better on LinkedIn than other places.
Yeah, because there's always a place where you can go where there's just less competition. So right now, I mean, Instagram is so hard because there's so many people putting out great content. So it's going to be really hard to break through and be the next big Instagram star. Like, you're not going to see some rising star like suddenly become this huge person based on Instagram. Like, maybe they achieve it on some other right and they get a good Instagram following, but that'd be a really tough place. And the other one right now would be TikTok. And that's a very demographic specific thing for now.
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook used to be like just the youngest people were there, and now look where we are. The youngest people are like, I'm not going there. My grandma's on there. So for now, TikTok is a very young, but the opportunity for gaining a huge following is ridiculous right now. Like, if you follow it and learn how TikTok content works, which I've been doing a lot of, just watching and taking note, if you can learn that formula, I mean, it's unreal the kind of success you could have so quickly on that platform right now. So it's just looking to find where attention is most easily found, and it's probably not Instagram right now, and Facebook is pretty full too, but there's lots of platforms where you can, because there's always will be. People keep changing, they keep moving, so there's always going to be a place where you can gain attention a lot easier than other places. Yeah. So
what are the actionable things, like how to earn fans with content? That's the title, right?
Yeah. So how to earn them is being, and we've talked about this, how to be really, really honest about what your audience actually wants to consume. It's no Trojan horse where you're sneaking in, well, I want to talk about my product or what I do. It's literally just, what is something that the type of people who would follow me, what is something they would love watching? Like, Red Bull is not trying to talk about how they taste the best, or it's not about it. It's just like, no, the people who drink Red Bull love extreme sports. Let's show them extreme sports. And the person riding the dirt bike has a Red Bull jersey on, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. So it's really getting to know your audience and what they love, and then just create that for them. So when we were doing stuff for the gym, it was like, man, people love these transformation shows that you watch on whatever, Lifestyle Network, or I don't know where those shows are, but something like that, right? People love watching those. So let's just make it for Facebook instead. That's how, is being really, really honest about what your audience loves and not trying to use it as a vehicle to slide your product or service in front of people's screens.
Yeah, people can tell
when
you're not
hugely
authentic. Like, I've heard so many people say, no, like they're like really frustrated with their staff or something, and they say, no, but I act like I'm positive at work. And I'm like, no, you can't act. Like, you can't. People can see through that. So if you're not like, and that, I think that's why I have never had trouble turning on the camera, because at the beginning I was like, and you know this, I still never watch any of my videos. I can't. Otherwise I would delete them all. But I just turn on the camera and I just talk, because I know what I'm about to tell them is going to make them more money or ease their stress or whatever. So that's been, I know I'm doing it for their good. But it would be totally untrue to say I'm only doing it for their good. I never want anyone to learn about me or anyone to follow me or to potentially get customers out of it one day.
Yeah, this saying has been going around recently where they're saying the fastest way or the most sure way of not gaining a following is to focus on gaining a following. Like, if that's your goal and you're like, nope, I need this many followers, I need this much engagement, I need to go viral, that is the most surefire way to not achieve that, because people see it. And it's that, and people are calling it, it's called thirsty these days, right? Like, you look so thirsty, and it's
I don't know, you're
such
the
a
only
turn
one
off.
who's used that word
I'm a TikToker.
I've asked a few young people about it. They're like, no.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I guess they're my age. We're not that young anymore.
So, yeah, you need to not, I mean, you can have that goal, but if you're trying too hard, people see you trying too hard, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is a big piece of it. And then patience, tons of patience.
How do they find out what their fans want?
Well, a bit of market research would help. So you're a big fan of that?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think people who listen to us actually know all that stuff, you know? Like, primary research, like doing surveys, like Google Forms, that sort of stuff, focus groups. Yeah,
I was just talking to our client today, because we gave one to him to give to all of his customers, and we just use Google Forms. It's free.
Yeah.
And we kind of had a few qualifying questions, and on Google Forms you can even have it, based on this answer. If they answered this, then go to this section. If they answered this, go to this section. So you can ask them different questions based on how they answered, like some qualifying questions.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we kind of turned it into 4 different personas. They're not personas, just 4 different customer types that he might have. And so depending,
choose your own adventure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I said to him today. Yeah. So people can get to the survey questions that are most relevant to them, make it on Google Forms. It's just a link. You can shorten it and make it a branded one if you want, or whatever, and just send it out to everyone. Incentivize them if you have to. Get a $10 gift card if you fill this out. I don't know, whatever you need to. If you have loyal people already, they're probably going to be happy to do it anyways. But
I always say, don't send it to your bad clients. Like,
yeah,
send it to your ideal clients who have no issue paying your prices, who aren't hard to deal with, who you feel energized after working with. Don't send it to people who you don't want more of.
Yeah.
Because if you start hearing everyone's opinions, like the haters, the trolls, whatever, you can't listen to that stuff. Like, that just skews everything. So yeah, ask the people who matter.
And you need a bit of volume to be able to do that. Like, you can't ask 8 people and then try and make some sort of conclusion
big enough
from
sample
that.
size.
Yeah. So that's where, because we don't have that many clients in number. So that was where maybe you got it, but I sent an email to my email list at the beginning of January, and I was just said, hey, like, what more could I create that would help you? I'm not saying
send that
like,
to me, 'cause I didn't get it.
Okay. Yeah. It was just an email that just said, I just wanted to know what people would find valuable. I'm not saying like, what can I do for you? Like, what can you hire me to do? Just what could I create? I do a lot of videos. I write some blogs. I just share articles. Like, what things do you find valuable? Do you want me to be available to ask questions whenever you want? Do you want a free one-on-one session? Like, what are the things that are actually valuable to you? So I was trying to find that out, and I actually did get a number of responses. Like, people replied and let me know, so that's helpful. If you don't have the sample size, you can just also use Google Survey and just do general market research. You pay $1 a response, put together up to 10 questions, and you say, show it to everyone in this province or whatever, and just ask the questions you want to know.
Awesome.
And you can do your own primary market research and find out that way as well. So you get thousands of responses if you want. Find out what do people like. That's And then, yeah, the actionable how-to is patience. I think that's the most important one. Like I was saying tonight, I've literally made hundreds of videos at this point, and where I was in my first dozen is not where I'm at now. And it's just not only patience in you becoming better at it and learning your audience and what works, but just patience that it's going to take time. I mean, we're episode 22 and we do have subscribers and people listen to it and people tell us they like this podcast, but we don't have 1,000 people watching our YouTube live. So it takes a while, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I think that's like the stick-to-itiveness. Is that how they say it?
Yeah.
That's like, I think it's a very common theme that I always forget myself. So many people who succeed, the only thing they did is they didn't give up.
Yeah, that is the biggest variable. Yeah,
it's like, what did he do differently than you? He just tried longer.
Yeah, and kept trying when it wasn't easy to keep trying. Yeah, because it's easy to keep trying when it's easy. Like when everything's rosy and you're making lots of money and you're only working 4 hours a day, so you got all the time in the world and whatever. But when the crunch is on and it's hard, but you still do it, that's what makes the biggest difference.
Yeah.
That is the biggest difference between those who found success and built a big audience and those who did not. Was not necessarily the quality of content or the ingenuity of the idea or they're better looking or whatever people want to blame it on. It's like, no, they just kept creating, kept going. The one my kids watch, they watch just, kids YouTube stuff, right? So they watch this family called the Yeagers. They're down in Utah somewhere, and they watch this show called Shot of the Yeagers, and it's just this family.
Shot of the
Yeagers. I think it's supposed to be a play on like Jaeger, shot of Jaeger, but it's the Yeagers, and they're a Mormon family, so I'm pretty sure it's not about Jaeger. But
didn't we just talk about being politically correct right before the mics turned on?
What?
Are you sure you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a fun family show, right? It's like documenting their daily life and them playing whatever. Floor is lava and all this stuff, right? So my kids love watching this show, and I remember I was just looking them up, where did they start, how did they get going, how much do they make, all that. And they're literally making millions off of making daily YouTube videos.
But did they start at the right time?
No.
That's what I was trying to ask you earlier. Like, do you think all those big success stories, especially YouTube, like I've been putting stuff on YouTube since the first day that I started my company, but
right.
I think one of the problems is you said I don't make it directly for YouTube. It's like repurposed.
Right.
That's one thing that I think is...
Yeah. And sure, there still has to be a minimum benchmark of it has to be quality, it has to be interesting, it has to be somewhat different than what's out there. It has to be some of that, but that's not all it takes. So this family
have become YouTube millionaires in the last couple years.
Yeah, recently, sure, yeah. But this family, they made daily YouTube videos for 10 months before they ever had more than 60 viewers on a video.
Oh yeah, I remember doing so many videos and I'm like, why am I doing this? This is so hard. I feel so insecure about being on camera. Nobody else was really doing it when I first started doing it on Facebook and YouTube, and I just felt like, who am I to put myself on video?
Right.
But as soon as you change that story where it's like, no, who am I helping?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So me doing daily LinkedIn vlogs is sparked by that because Goldie Chan, she was at the conference I was in New York, she did that 2 years ago, maybe she started it, and or maybe even longer than that, but she did daily LinkedIn vlogs, and hers were a lot more production value than mine are, and it's a bit more of I'm sure had some assistance, or if she didn't, she just put a lot more time into it than I do, but she made very high quality LinkedIn videos every single day for more than a year, so literally has hundreds of them out there.
What does she sell?
What does she sell? I don't know what she does.
Really?
I think she's a coach consultant type person now. She definitely does a lot of public speaking, but she's become LinkedIn named her one of their top creators, someone who's definitely made waves on LinkedIn. You might have seen her. She always has lime green hair. It's kind of her identifying thing.
See, we were talking about that earlier, and I was in your bathroom looking at the orange table, and I was like, do I really have to get a gimmick? Do I really have to wear a pink streak in my hair or write K-Ray on my glasses or something? That's what Mandy calls me.
I mean, you'd have to be identifiable,
isn't that
right?
Inauthentic? Isn't that a gimmicky? Because if I were to just be I have a gimmick now, that would be inauthentic.
Right.
But if I had something from the beginning, but I don't. I'm just me.
You're just you. I mean, you have to be identifiable in, like we said, an elevator pitch way where people can
Right.
see you and be like, well, that's how I would describe you to someone else. It needs to be something that,
Like summarize the story,
right, could be your story, could be,
who you are.
yeah, what you offer,
Yeah, I
how
don't
you
think I
look,
do
could
that.
be.
Like I never start the video with like, here's who I am, or like.
No, I
And
don't
I never
think
talk
you
about my
should.
story. No. So what? Can you give people like a loose outline for what a good content video is, or is it different for every different
Well,
audience?
yeah, I mean, it's gonna look like what your audience is already consuming. So
So you
look
get
look at
oh,
what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
consuming, right? So if you're wanting to do, if it's like something like Red Bull, it's like, what are people watching? Well, they're watching all these crazy videos on YouTube about 10 most extreme humans or whatever. And it's just these crazy clips of people doing insane stuff. So they model it after that because that's what their audience is watching. If you want to do a celebrity interview show like Hot Ones, like what do people watch? Well, it's really interesting questions, unique questions, not the boring like newscast questions where you ask the celebrity the same question they've answered 600 times. Like no one wants to watch that interview. They want the interview where someone's asked something for the first time in their life. So how do we make that? We need to make a show where we can produce what people are already watching.
And how do you find out what they're already watching?
That we can do that market research
Okay,
piece.
good point.
Yeah, and then just looking at what's getting a lot of views, like what's trending right now, what are people watching a lot of. That's definitely worth always paying attention to, is what's hot right now, what's working, right? Even not in your industry.
TikTok. I can't.
You don't have to.
I
You don't
tried
have
a
to
couple
be
dog
everywhere.
videos on there. It's pretty fun, but I'm like, this is so not my audience.
Nope, it's
It's
definitely a
not.
different one.
Yeah. But
Nope.
yeah, I did see like Will Smith and a couple other people.
Yeah, I follow Will Smith and Kevin Hart and
all their
Gary
videos are
Vee
like
and
very edited, aren't they? Like where Will Smith like
highly edited.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost every one that somebody has showed me that's like really popular has a ton of like, it's like that guy painting. Have you seen that?
Yep.
Where the walls move?
Oh, maybe not that one, but there's a lot of illusion type ones
Yeah.
and very, like catch your eye.
So you have to be a good video editor to be big on TikTok?
No, that's what the app makes really easy, is you can create so many of these things in app. That's what, once you learn how to use it, it makes those quite easy. So
I think that's another thing actually. People are so quick to give up on learning something, and me
Yeah.
too. Like I definitely have spent a lot more time on LinkedIn this year, and I do take more time to look at insights and things, and I do follow certain, like I listen to you, I listen to Social Media Examiner, like stuff like that. But a lot of people, I think they try it and they're like, I'm just gonna outsource this.
yeah,
And that can be
right.
or I'm just gonna ask my assistant to do it, or I'm just gonna. I think I've been guilty of that sometimes, and it's like, no, if you actually just take an hour to learn, you could be really making gains.
And they also almost, it feels to me that some of these apps kind of intentionally don't make it totally transparent how to use it, because it's almost like it's a big thing in pop culture, and whenever you build things that you kind of hide these, like what you call Easter eggs around, where it's like only your biggest fans discover it, and they're like, oh, I bet you no one else noticed this, and you actually kind of make it
It's
like
a
an in
Nintendo
club.
thing,
A Nintendo thing? I don't
video
know.
game thing.
No, it's in everything. Like you could have a website where no one knows it, but if you scroll over this one corner or something like pops up, and that's like a hidden thing,
I haven't
and
heard
it
of
becomes
this.
cool. But I remember early
you
in
made this up.
I remember early in Snapchat that there is no
Oh, I hate
instruction
Snapchat.
manual for how to use Snapchat, and it's just like trial by error. Like what happens when I do this?
Yeah,
What
like
happens
who is
when I do
seeing
this?
this right now? I
Right,
know. I was like,
no
delete
idea.
this app.
So either you have to go to Google and Google it and read someone's guide
Hope
to
someone's
Snapchat,
forum post is right.
or you just experiment and try. And TikTok's definitely one of those where like you kind of just have to mess around and push buttons and see how it works. But
yeah.
that's the way it goes. So there's no formula for how to do it by your industry, but definitely if you're interested in doing this, paying attention to what your audience is paying attention to, like what's hot, what's cool, what's interesting, what's new out there.
And one warning I would give people too is we often think that people think the way that we think, but
Yeah.
we're so wrong. Like for me, for example, like the first couple of years, I always talked about the two things that I thought people really, really needed. And those were not the things at all that my clients wanted, So you have to remember that you are not your ideal client in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do your research. Yeah.
For sure.
I don't have a quick tip.
No quick tip from you?
You can do a long tip.
Okay. What was mine? Wait, I wanted to talk about one. Okay, how much time? How long are we into this for?
It's over. It's
oh my
done.
God, we're done. Okay,
What
we
time?
won't get into
Oh
it.
my, 45 minutes?
Yeah, 45 minutes.
Okay, what else do you have?
There's a saying that every media or every company is a media company, and that's or it should be. I think there's the feeling that every company will have a great success if they think of themselves as a media company. So if you think of how media has been produced in the past, there's like the type of media, so radio, television, magazine, whatever, that's the type. And then there's the publisher who makes that type. So on TV, you'd have like HGTV, that's a publisher on that media. And then there's the advertiser that once that publisher has an audience, then the advertiser pays them to reach that audience, right?
Yep.
So you have media, publisher, and then advertiser. And that's where social media kind of destroyed that, because you have the media, but you are both the publisher and the advertiser. Or you can be just one or the other, but if you have a page, that's not an advertiser role. That's a media publisher role, right? You are creating content for people to go to that platform and consume. So it's more like creating the show on HGTV than the Home Depot commercial that interrupts it. But people are treating their pages like they're an advertiser. But it's like, no, you're a publisher now. So when you think of yourself like a media company, that's how you dominate new media these days. Is you are a content creator. You're a media publisher, not just an advertiser. Because to have an advertiser, it means you're paying to reach someone else's audience. But if you want to do content marketing, create your own audience and then build a relationship with them. And you can still advertise to them and advertise to other people's audiences. But content marketing is about being in the publisher column, not the advertiser column.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Should we just skip it? Because we're going long today.
Sure. Do you have anything else there?
No, I think that's about all.
Okay.
Someone like Tom should make a show like Hot Ones. That was my biggest thing. Why didn't they make it?
Definitely.
I think rather than advertising on someone else's show.
But then it's like, well, one of my clients showed me this video today that was on Ellen. Okay. And it was this girl, she recorded herself, I think, on YouTube. And she was so just like very plain. Like she wasn't like, you know how a lot of people are just like so much makeup and they're like selfie talking, and like she was just like a really ordinary, like kind looking girl, and she was talking about how it was Christmas time and this lady was going to get a ginger ale, and she's like, oh, and I think she has a bit of an accent. She's like, are you just getting ginger ale? I'll buy it for you. And she's talking about the spirit of Christmas. It is so good. And then she starts like laughing so hard she's crying and she could barely get the story out. And she says she goes outside, and after she bought this ginger ale, she sees this man cleaning her windshield, and she's just overcome with the spirit of Christmas. So she goes up to him, and the video takes like 5 minutes because she's laughing so hard. And she's like, but then I realized it was his own car, and he was cleaning his own window, and it was just parked in front of my car. But she was laughing so hard that I guess it got 80 million views, and then Ellen got a hold of it. So God knows how many it has now. But like, you can't plan that. There's no way that girl was like, this is going viral.
No, not a chance.
She's just like so authentic. I think she even snorted a little. She laughed so hard.
Yeah, there's no formula for virality, but there is a formula for it being viral worthy, and then there's a whole bunch of luck and timing involved.
Well, now you have to tell us the formula for viral worthy.
No, that's a whole other conversation.
Next
if we can talk about that. Maybe.
Oh, I'm just going to be the audience again at that one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. You can follow me on Twitter, Lane_Anderson, Instagram, The Real Lane Anderson,
and follow me. Twitter, eh?
Yeah, and follow me on LinkedIn. Look me up, Lane Anderson. Daily vlogs are happening there.
They're good too.
I just made one today about how Facebook and Google are not listening to you to advertise to you. It's just not true. Don't listen to the people. It's crazy.
Oh yes, Kelly Ray Tamaki and TMH Business Coaching Consulting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yep. All the places.
Nope, not all the places.
Not
only
TikTok.
Those 3.
Great.
I'm on TikTok, but it's it's only 2 videos of my dog.
It's not what you.
And my husband, he's like, "Why did you put me on here? I didn't even know you took this video."
No consent.
He's petting the dogs.
Awesome.
It's very cute. But anyways.
Okay, thanks for watching and listening, everyone. We'll see you all next week.
Oh yes, thanks for listening. I always forget to say that.